It's that new strategy. Oh yeah, and just to say, I've just seen that pop up that we are going to record this session, just so there's quite a few people who mentioned that they couldn't attend and we want to share it with it, but it will just be the recording of the main presentations from myself, Kaz and Lou. And then when we go into breakouts later on, we won't be recording those. So just to let you know, we're doing that today. So you'll be able to watch back as well at your convenience if you want to. So going back to the GM in Action launch, as I say, it was a collective kind of coming together of lots of people to produce that strategy, and it's a 10-year strategy all about how we move forward to support people to move more in Greater Manchester. And as part of the strategy, what we were really keen to do is not just launch it as a document, but have a number of events and sessions that really bring it to life and into action. So one of the things we wanted to do is focus on the resources and the support that's available around walking. Because as many of you know, in Greater Manchester, we've got a kind of specific ambition around walking, kind of recognising the role walking in particular plays to support physical activity across the population. So we've had that ambition in Greater Manchester for a number of years. There's been lots of work going on across the boroughs. And we have got lots of resources available now to support walking in Greater Manchester, which I know a lot of you will be aware of, but we thought it was quite a good time to kind of reinforce and kind of recap and refocus on the resources that are available. We've got a newish animation that we're going to share shortly, which brings the work to life and hopefully will be a resource for you to use in the rooms that you go in as well. So just to reinforce, I did mention at the start, do put in chat, say hello, tell us where you're from, what you hope to get out of today. We'll encourage you to connect on social media. We've got @GM Walks, we've also got @GM Moving, and we'll be using the hashtag GM Walking today. So please do connect on social media as well and shout about the work that you're doing. So as I've mentioned, we've had the GM Moving in Action launch. If you want to look at the strategy, it's on the GM Moving website, which has also been refreshed. So there's lots of information and resources on that website as well to get your heads into. I've mentioned we've got a shared ambition in Greater Manchester around walking, and that's really recognising that we all need to work together if we're going to tackle inactivity in Greater Manchester. And this animation that we're about to share is going to really bring that to life and talk about why we need a whole system and shared ambition around walking in Greater Manchester if we're going to tackle inactivity. So Kaz is going to play that animation in a second. We're then going to come back. I'll talk about the content of the day and then pass on to Kaz. If you've got any questions throughout the day, please put them in chat. We're going to have a question and answer session towards the end, but we will try and answer questions as we go as well. And if there's something we don't cover, we will follow up after the event. But we will have a slot after the breakout rooms to have a chance to have a bit of Q&A. So if you want to hold on to your question till then, please do. But if you'd rather do it through chat, you've got that option as well. Anything I've missed, Kaz, Lou, Carol, Helen, before we move into the animation, shout up. But welcome, really great to see everyone here. And hopefully this animation just helps get your head into why we're here today. So I'm going to stop sharing, 2 seconds, and then over to you, Kaz. Look at that, seamless, unbelievable.
Increasing physical activity is great for both physical and mental health. It combats depression and loneliness, saves money, lives, and potentially the planet. Greater Manchester Walking Ambition has been developed to enable the greatest number of people possible to walk routinely, for pleasure, for travel, for themselves and for the environment. Because when it comes to getting people to move more in Greater Manchester, walking may be the best way to get there. Walking is a popular activity and can be made inclusive and accessible for everyone to enjoy. It's sociable, safe, and relaxing. It's not expensive and doesn't take much to get started. As human beings, we all want to feel the air on our faces, the wind in our hair, the sense of freedom that walking can bring. When you plan how to get from A to B, or just what to do with a bit of free time, there's lots of influences on your decision to walk or not to walk. Some might seem completely unrelated, but are important in the moment. Some are beyond our control. But most of these influences can be influenced if decision makers at every level consider making walking safer, easier, and more fun as part of their role. With any complex problem, it's hard to know where to start, and one group of people working in one area probably isn't enough to make a measurable difference. They say that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, but to tip the balance in favour of walking, we need lots of people in lots of different areas to take a lot of small steps together. Whether strolling, pushing, wheeling, or roaming, it all matters. We're already having some success through our apps and social media, through Walking Champions, the Greater Manchester Way campaign, and the GM Daily Mile toolkits. There are festivals and events, websites and animations. There's been more than 80 community investment fund grants for voluntary organisations and some massive infrastructure investments from our partners in Transport for Greater Manchester. The next step is up to you. If you're watching this, it's because you have the power to help. Whatever your level of influence, we want walking on your agenda, so that as policymakers, funders, commissioners, community groups, schools, families, and individuals, we can pull together to make walking in Greater Manchester something to be proud of. So we're asking you to think about the work that you do and what you can do to make it easier for people to choose being active, to choose to make Greater Manchester a happier and healthier place, and choose to make walking part of their everyday life. If you'd like to find out more or to get more involved, please visit www.gmwalking.co.uk today.
Brill. Thanks, Kaz. So hopefully that's a useful tool for you in itself to use. So please do use that in the rooms and share with your networks. It's available on the website to download and use. So please do use that if it's useful. And hopefully it's inspired you in terms of the work that you're already doing, but also gives you some food for thought about some things that you can do going forward. So moving on into the session today, we've talked about the GM Walking Ambition. We're going to move on to Kaz in a second, who's going to talk through the website and kind of draw out the kind of 4 key areas of support that is available through the website and the kind of resources and content on there. We'll then have some space for discussion and questions, an opportunity to break out into 4 different kind of breakout rooms, so smaller rooms, to explore one of those areas in more detail if one catches your eye that you think you'd like to know more information about. And as I said, we will be sharing lots of resources as well in the slides from each of the breakout rooms if there are a couple that you're interested in. So Kaz will be giving that quick overview. So do ask any questions, but hold on to any that you've got specific questions about for the discussion and for the actual breakout rooms themselves as well. So I'm going to pass back to Kaz.
Hi everyone, so I'm Kaz. I am Products Lead for GM Walking and GM Moving. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of our website. So I'll just share my screen now. I can just find the right one. Hopefully you can see that. So basically we've got various areas on the site where you can find the resources that you might need to support your work in walking. So I'll just point out first the search facility at the top, which we've recently made a little bit more prominent, so it's easier to find. And for example, you can actually just type in a particular borough and it'll bring up everything related to that borough. So it's quite a simple way of quickly going through and checking out what you can find on there. So on the home page, we've made these two particular cards quite prominent for routes and groups because they are the most searched items on our site for the general public. So we've made that quite quick to find and signpost to. We've also got a few items under there that we want to for people to find quickly, which includes the video we've just shown you, an index for resources for the site, and the GM Daily Mile toolkit. I'll just point out as well at the bottom that we've got this sign-up form for people to sign up to our newsletter, which we've actually got now about 3,500 people signed up to that newsletter. So we can promote items and information for the public to, continue their walking habit through that. So next I'll go to, so guides, maps and toolkits. Now this area is a section that we've basically made, again, quite prominent with a header on there so that people can actually find all the resources to help them walk in here. So we've got various items again, such as the Daily Mile, an active travel page, information on using the Go Jauntly app, all the various items that people can look at and download and find activities that are going on throughout Greater Manchester. So I just need to move something off my screen so I can see where I'm going now. You can also find guides, maps and toolkits at the opposite end of the headers on here, under useful resources. And if you just hover over that, you can actually, the first one comes to the index, which basically you can actually check out various items on the site in our resources, and you can actually download this index with these hyperlinks on it, so you can actually have that on your PC if you wanted to, or provide that to someone else. Okay, so where are we going next? I'll go back to hover over resources. So we've also got the GM Walking Voice, where partners can sign up to that, and hopefully you're all signed up to that, because then you find out not just that you don't just get the newsletter, you get more information from us on a reasonably regular basis, so you can find out what's going on with walking perhaps in your area. So also we've got community support, which actually quite a lot of the information in there is case stories from the walking grants, GM walking grants that have been given out during the last 18 months or so. So nice case stories and downloads, information, some of the stuff that's been done during lockdown, providing community support and inspiration for people with long-term health conditions, etc. So there's also a section on what we're currently calling Walking Champions training, which Carol will go talk about in more detail in one of the breakout rooms. So training to encourage other support for the people to get them walking. So I'll just go over to the GM Way now here. It's got its own section, and this is inspiration and support for encouragement of walking. So lots of case stories in there, little videos, inspiring information, and Helen will talk about that in more depth in her breakout room. Okay, so what have I not covered? Got the GM Way. So and back to the routes and groups now. So I'll just mention this again. So obviously we've got various places you can find these, but they've got their own tabs on the top of the page here as well. So one of the important things to mention is actually you can actually share your own routes on here. It's quite a simple drop-down form, and you can upload either a map or you can screenshot a route from some mapping software. I'll go into that in more detail in my breakout room. But I'll just mention that one of the other things you can now do on here is search not only by borough, but you could actually search by borough, grade of walk and facilities. So walking groups, again, quite an important element of our site. You can actually check out which ones for which sort of category of walk quite clearly. You can search by borough again in here. And then there's this orange tab to submit a walking group. And it can be any type of walking group to submit. So let me see. I think that's pretty much everything for a quick whistle stop overview for now. So unless anyone, Beth, Lou, Carol, Helen.
Yeah, maybe the Daily Mile toolkit area, just to mention that we're doing a breakout round.
Oh yeah, okay. So if I just go back to resources and click on guides, maps and toolkits here, then one of these cards is the Daily Mile toolkit, and this is for communities. There's different toolkits for individuals, groups and organisations, employers and workplaces, and Louise is going to go into more depth detail about that along with other resources in her breakout room. Thanks, Beth.
Real.
Kaz, sorry, just to say, is it just worth going back and saying that those things are on the front page? You know, there's the main, obviously you took us through the menu bar, but just on the main, there's a picture of, you know, toolkits, the animation, and yeah, the groups and groups, that's on that front page.
Yeah, I think I did that, but let me just recap with that again. So on the home page here, is that what you mean, Lou? Yeah, I went over that bit first. So yeah, this information is primary spot on the home page to begin with as well. So there's more than one place to find some of the most popular items on the site. Is that what you meant? Great, thanks. Okay, Beth, if you can share that next slide, that'd be great.
Yeah, 2 seconds. Okay. So I think it's over to you, Lou.
Yeah, so we wanted to give some time to explore some of those things that Kaz has just mentioned. So if going through that overview, you have some interest in perhaps finding out a little bit more about the groups and routes that go jointly out, where to go walking in Greater Manchester, or how to find where to walk in Greater Manchester, how to help the people you work with do that, then join Breakout 1. If you want to find more about some of the detail underneath the resources and toolkits, that resources page and the Daily Mile toolkit, the Greater Manchester Walking Festival, join Breakout 2 that I'll be going through for helping other people to walk more, through sort of encouraging people to come for a walk perhaps with you, or you might organise groups like Hilary mentioned in the chat. Carol's going to go through some of our resources, talk about some of the sort of walking workshop or champions walking workshop that we talked about. And then if you're looking at some of the resources, photos, blogs, stories, how you might be able to contribute your stuff, how you might be able to inspire others, then Helen's going to go through some of those resources there. So the breakouts are planned for about 15 minutes to go into some depth. Please, if you have a particular burning issue in the session you're in, please ask your sort of lead, Kaz, Louise, Carol or Helen. But you know, they'll go through some stuff, and then we'll be able to come back and have a conversation, ask any general questions all together. So I'll open the breakouts. Can everyone see that? Can you see those breakout rooms, or am I not host? Can people see those 4 options?
I can't currently.
No. Kaz, can you make me a host, or have you done that? Hold on, how do I show that?
You co-host at the moment.
Maybe open them. If I open all rooms, basically you choose. So if I say open all rooms, can you see that now?
Yeah. So the breakout tab at the bottom. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's a breakout tab. So I've opened them. So you choose one of those 4 rooms to go into. Just click on the one you'll be going to, and Beth, I think you'll be last in. Can you assign anyone or help anyone to choose? It's not in. I'll go into the one I'm on. Kaz